All right, so I remember I saw a video about Fate's Day Night, Fate's Day Night, and it was definitely a really cool video, but it made my head hurt about how everything in this show is canon. Every game, every manga, every show, every episode, every movie is canon. Every description is canon. They're all canon all at the same time, and it just made my head hurt. But then I see Seth the programmer uploads a video saying why the main character of the show is the strongest character in fiction. That's a big ass claim when you got people like SpongeBob over here pulling the world apart with a piece of string. But let's get it. I've never seen this show. Never seen anything about it besides the like 2 YouTube videos I saw.
Fate often considered to be one of the most convoluted.
From this video right here, explaining everything, and I was like, bro, what the hell? It's a great video. You guys should definitely check it out.
And expansive anime to ever exist has convoluted and expansive anime powers. Who would have thought? But many people don't know just the level that this reaches and why it makes most of the most famous powerhouses in fiction actually.
Boy, that's a powerful photo right there.
Level that this reaches and why it makes most of the most famous powerhouses
drawing, got Superman bowing
in fiction.
Got Saitama running
actually
away.
Seem like nothing in comparison.
That's powerful.
Servants in Fate are usually based on mythological entities or concepts brought to reality by an omnipotent wishing device known as the Holy Grail. These servants are usually capable of destroying almost entire armies on their own, changing the fate of the world, and destroying pretty much anything on it. Some of these characters reach levels of godhood and form the very foundations of humanity, wisdom, power, and many other things. Saber, being the most popular servant, obviously is the one I wanted to focus on, and while she may not seem like an extreme god tier threat even within her own series.
Wait, word?
And while she may not seem like an extreme god tier threat.
Is this? She's a C tier? This is probably like a fighting game or something.
Even within her own series, like maybe Gilgamesh or something. Gilgamesh! She does in fact actually scale to these entities and is considered a top representative of their universe. A big roadblock with scaling Fate or Saber, and difficulty with me explaining why Saber would absolutely destroy Goku, Superman, SpongeBob, or whoever the f is that servants in
SpongeBob? Alright, Seth, don't let me down. Explain this shit.
Fate are heavily restricted in what they're actually allowed to do when they appear. Not necessarily in their power, even though that can be the case, but their effects on the environment or planet are limited to a level that you wouldn't see in a normal show. For instance, in Dragon Ball, when Vegeta wants to blow up the planet, he can, right? Yeah. He has enough power to do it. Nothing's stopping him. Same goes with Frieza or Kaguya from Naruto or Superman from DC or Yuha from Bleach or literally SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But in Fate, destroying a planet or something requires more than it would take to destroy a planet, because the planet itself is actually protected by a higher entity that restricts these omnipotently born servants from impacting its fate.
Which
and
makes
it's kind
sense.
of the name of the show. This is because of a phenomena called the counterforce, which is basically the will of the earth itself that defends it. Good proof of this, outside the obvious I just showed on the screen, is that we actually see servants in other media, all media being basically canon for Fate. I'm not joking. The mobile game, every video game, every visual novel, anime, it's all canon. Being able to fight entities that can literally become larger than planets and use them as anyway.
Oh, what, bro?
You get the idea. These servants from these games actually scale to the ones in the show, sometimes being even weaker or stronger, but that's just sort of a basic level breakdown. Servants can easily destroy fortresses, mountains, and fight crazy godlike beings that can easily destroy a planet. But
as long as the counterforce doesn't stop them.
But Nasu, the author of the Fate verse, goes a step beyond that into a level of bat crazy for no reason that unironically makes Saber one of the strongest characters in all of fiction, period. Making these Fate servants become something you'd see more from a Cthulhu eldritch deity and not an anime girl. Well, some of these anime girls are actually pretty much eldritch deities. But it's confusing. Anyway, the baseline for strong Fate scaling is usually considered
Hey man, what's her name? Not her.
But it's confusing.
What's her name?
Anyway,
I want to know for research
the
purposes.
baseline for strong fate scaling is usually considered to be around when a character named BB is introduced. BB is a backup AI programmed by another character named Sakura that is so powerful that it can hack into and manipulate reality itself. The way it does this is by hacking into and absorbing a construct called the Moon Cell. And the Moon Cell is a supercomputer often considered on the level of the omnipotent Holy Grails, and this supercomputer's purpose is to record all things that have ever occurred and can manipulate the laws of physics, view the past, present, and future of the universe, and even culling dead parallel universes entirely from the multiverse.
Wait, what? Calling them?
That have ever occurred and can manipulate the laws of physics, view the past, present, and future of the universe, and even culling dead parallel universes entirely from the multiverse. BB then obtains all these abilities by breaking into the final barrier of this moon cell, which is 8th dimensional in nature. As a reminder, our universe is 3 to 4th dimensional, and anything beyond 5th would view us as fiction or non-existent in comparison to it. BB not only reaches this 5th level, but the 8th dimension by doing so. BB is then later defeated by the servants in Fate Extra, which would be Saber Nero, Caster Tamamo, Archer Emmy.
Wait, an 8th dimensional being was defeated by characters in the show?
Defeated by the servants in Fate Extra, which would be Saber Nero, Caster Tamamo.
That's our girl, Saber, but she's red now.
Archer Emiya, and Gilgamesh. Saber Nero is pretty much just weaker red Artoria, which is later proven in Fate Extella when Artoria is summoned into the war between Red Saber and Tamamo from the Moon Cell to...
Wait, who is Artoria?
Nero is pretty much just weaker red Artoria, which is later proven in Fate Extella when Artoria is summoned into the war between Red Saber and Tamamo from the Moon Cell to stop them.
Is Saber Artoria? Are they the same people?
Even if she isn't stronger or weaker, she is at least relative enough to face these servants that possibly halted the plans of an 8th dimensional reality warping entity. Normally, my skepticism would then kick in here, and I would say, what if this 8th dimensional construct is a barrier literally made with 8 separate dimensions acting as a wall, rather than an 8th dimensional mathematical concept or principle? However, when you read all of Fate's materials, you'll begin to see that its author and the many characters do mention actual dimensional theory quite literally many times, meaning it's actually in Nasu's knowledge and ability to then write these mathematical concepts without a lot of headcanon or assumptions involved. Example, the very first mention of dimensional theory is in Fate Stay Night and Fate Zero, which I'll show on the screen now, and these two are the first Fates ever. So
there's been 8th dimensional just concepts and actual feats since basically chapter 1 or chapter 0. Damn, bro, this author has a big ass brain, bro. That's crazy for him to come up with something like, bro literally said, I'm gonna make the strongest show, period. No one's making a show stronger than mine. Is basically what he did. And somebody greenlit that shit. They're like, good to go, baby. Throw that. Yeah, make some money.
Nasu has known about these theories for a long time. Nasu is known for doing a lot of research on the history of his servants and characters as well. And Plato is literally a servant who
Plato? Bro, this guy's smart as shit.
Made
him a servant?
Things like Platonic concepts, etc. You get it. Anyway, heroic spirits ascended the throne of heroes, which resides within the swirl of roots, or Akasha records, and the root is basically so complex and above all else that the author believes that even describing it in any concept or terms is actually doing it a disservice.
Oh shit. Bro, when the author says that even I can't describe it, bro is cheating. He's cheating in his show.
He believes that there is no way to word it without even downplaying it. It is always just blank or beyond our comprehension entirely. Beyond the concepts of space and time, beyond concepts, pretty much period, even outside of the story, it can't be explained. So
he said, bro, if you want the Fate's Day Night lore story deepening to be explained, you better go to Jesus Christ himself and ask him the motherfucking question. Because even I, the guy that created it, I have no idea what the hell I just did. Or I know, but I can't explain it. Because if I explain it, it's not going to sound as good as what I know it really is to be. That's absolutely insane. It's like when you play rock, paper, scissors and some kid goes tornado. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
So these servants then born from it can do crazy things, or even trying to tap into it can also do crazy things. Okay. Who would have thought? But Saber's only purpose was not to stop the servants from fighting after BB when she was summoned by the Moon Cell. Her true purpose was to stop a being known as Safar, who's kind of like Fate's Galactus. The same servants that defeat...
Okay, if it's Fate's version of Galactus, I'm guaranteeing you this thing can eat like 9 dimensions or something like that.
BB could only barely scratch Safar, while Artoria, as the same servants that defeat BB could only barely scratch Safar, while Artoria as a servant is considered on a completely different level.
How?
And she simply Excaliburs Safar away in numerous timelines. Safar, in her avatar body known as Altera, swings around the Sword of Mars, which is stated to be the embodiment of the concept of cutting.
What?
Become important for these...
Ooh, the embodiment of the concept of cutting. Bro, how do you wrap your mind around that? How, as an author, how do you come up with something like this? It's like, no, you're not being cut. You're being attacked with something that is the foundation of being split in half. In other words, you're dead. Like, what?
To be the embodiment of the concept of cutting, which will become important for these servants in the next point. One thing Saber actually does that might be a little mind-blowing and potentially, it caught me off guard when...
Dude, my mind's already been blown like 2 times already.
I researched into it, unintended, because of how absurd it is. Do you remember when Saber fought this guy? He's kind of a nothing character almost, right? Very overshadowed by characters like Hercules and Gilgamesh inside the 5th Holy Grail War. But what if I told you this dude himself would probably slam any version of Goku ever thought of in existence?
Well, if you say something like that, I'm gonna need some proof, because this right here, this ain't cutting it.
This guy, with a very unique swordplay of his that Saber can counter somehow. And I don't know how she does this, so don't ask. She's just that plot amped and broken, which is what I'm trying to tell y'all. But this technique, known as the Tsubame Geishi, breaks the rules of reality and allows Assassin Koji...
Bro, the ultimate sword technique that assaults the opponents from 3 directions simultaneously. Strictly speaking, this is neither a noble phantasm nor a magical phenomenon. The nameless martial artist who materialized as Kojiro sought nothing but the pinnacle of swordsmanship during his life. He trained himself in pursuit of swordsmanship and doing nothing but swing his sword. After a long period of time, his technique finally reached another state. A flash from the worlds followed by 2 absolute simultaneous overlapping flashes that disregard the concept of time and space, producing a slash attack that arrives from 3 different directions. This is a multi-dimensional refraction phenomenon. What the fuck? Bro, it transcends speed, dexterity, feint, and many other elements, although with some limitations. Where? A nameless martial artist who knows not of sorcery or true magic is able to trend into the realm of the second magic. What about second breakfast? Bro, the range of this skill is approximately 3 million or 3 meters. 3 meters in order to deliver the first strike as a horizontal slash. Kojiro relinquished his high ground advantage over Artoria. That's Saber, right? And moved to an equal level before unleashing this technique. You may discern how special secret technique Tsubame Gaishi is to Kojiro, who never assumed a stance by observing how he lifts his sword and then swiftly launches the technique. Wait. So this guy has a multi-dimensional sword attack that slashes in 3 different directions at the same exact time that transcends speed, dexterity, and fate. and Saber was able to block it. Am I reading this right? Am I reading this correctly? If that is the case, damn, then she better than Zoro, but I don't know how she better than Goku. Keep talking.
To disregard the concepts of space and time entirely via applications of something called the second true magic.
Yeah.
The multi-dimensional refraction phenomenon, more commonly known as the kaleidoscope. The true magics are different to standard magecraft as they are only obtained by maguses who have touched the root itself, the thing that made all thing, that is beyond all things. And while fighting...
Damn. So to get this, it's like basically trying to get the Rinnegan from the Sage of Six Paths. It ain't gonna happen.
This assassin Kojiro is on such a different level that...
Damn, what the hell? So she imagined her getting slashed and then was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. But what she got? Fucking Izanagi?
The visual novel describes Kojiro's slashes as being beyond Saber's ability to literally perceive attacks from the future. And I'll go into that a little bit more later in the speed part, but after he uses his true skill finally, which is beyond the concepts of space and time, she actually survives 3 slashes from him. He's not even trying to spare her either, and is clearly slashing her on a level that should insta-kill her, that she survives somehow. So I don't know how to explain how she survived, but take that as you will. That is a thing that happened.
Man, forget how she survived. How she block it?
I think it's important to bring this up because if you were to say have a Bleach character try to slash at Saber, yet she can survive 3 slashes beyond the very concepts of space and time, beyond an infinitely dimensional scale, then they would literally just never be able to do anything to her ever. Now, like I said, I'm not sure how intentional it was for her body to remain intact from literal outer versal slashes, but like I said, consider the following. Saber is actually suppressed during this encounter as her sword is invisible, which nerfs her sword's power and her own as she has to focus on the technique. But later, she rematches Kojiro, and Kojiro tries to do the same 3 slashes again, which, by the way, is further confirmation that her body somehow tanked these beyond dimension slashes.
Wait. No, he didn't swing it 1 time.
Which, by the way,
he swung it 3 times.
Kojiro, and Kojiro tries to do the same 3 slashes again.
1,
which, by the way, 2.
So he sliced at her 3 times, and it attacks 3 times each. So it was 9 multi-dimensional, fast as hell, -3 billion dexterities cuts, and she tanked that shit.
way is further confirmation that her body somehow
rock, paper, scissors, done.
Tanked these beyond dimension slashes from cutting through her body all the way or decapitating her. But even when she activates her sword, she is able to outspeed the attack, which has already been thrown 3 times, or she is perceiving it now in the future, even though it is beyond time. But he does swing it at least once, and she outspeeds it. So remember, this slash is beyond the concept of speed entirely, meaning she just outsped the concept of speed. Meaning anything bound by speed might not even be able to ever touch her. How stupid is that? And this is originally because in the visual novel, the original, Kojiro was supposed to be nerfed when he used this attack. However, in the anime that Nasu approves of, there is no indication he has the same nerf. So that was probably an oversight, but it's kind of a nasty one. Before we get into her speed, there's one last discussion with her attack power.
See, this is what happens when you make your character super OP, and then at the same time, it's like, well, I kind of don't want to, be in charge of every little thing that, is being made with my IP, because, he's still being ran by some company, and some company's like, oh yeah, well, we want a game and we want to animate. Like, yeah, he could look over it, but bro, he still got to go home and, see the kids and stuff, bro. He don't want to look at all this stuff. But at the same time, when you decide to make all of it canon, you gotta look at all of it. You just have to. Unless you just don't care, you're like, fuck it, man. It is what it is. Making money, whatever. You could be like that.
Has to be discussed before moving on, that being Artoria with Avalon and her battles against Gilgamesh's Ea and his noble phantasm Enema Elish. This is significant because Ea is described numerous times as being able to destroy all of creation.
Bro, I was about to read it, and then I saw that 2 more panels came. I ain't about to read all this shit. I ain't about to read all this shit. Hell no. I need to get me an Audible sponsor before I hear any of this.
Which is described as the world. Now, this wouldn't include root, as root would be beyond the world, as the world is just Earth. That root is clearly above, as it's above every universe, timeline, or whatever that has Earth in it, but regardless. The short answer, Excalibur isn't really ever comparable to Ea without special conditions. Excalibur only enters the pinnacle of noble phantasms when it's in a situation where its purpose as the last phantasm of the planet comes into play, against an outside danger that threatens the world itself, basically making her amped by the same force that I described earlier that makes the planet able to withstand attacks from higher dimensional servants.
So like if an outside presence comes into like her dimension, she gets a boost equivalent to whatever force came into the dimension. Is that what I'm hearing? I don't know if I'm misinterpreting. Let me know.
Without exploding all the time. In Fate's Day Night, when Excalibur and Ea clash, the most famous of these clashes that make most people comment on this in general is Gilgamesh was clearly taking it easy while Artoria was desperately struggling, even calling the clash of their powers boring before easily eclipsing her power and then defeating her. Artoria was only able to overcome Gilgamesh in this route by basically catching him off guard with Avalon. Another counter to Excalibur being on par with Gilgamesh is Artoria's summoning in Fate Extella, where she should be stronger to stop the war between Nero and Tamamo alongside the destruction of Safar. And the only other servants that are suggested to be on the same level or grade as Artoria are the other two kings from Fate Zero, Alexander and Gilgamesh. And we see this more powerful version of Saber and a more serious Gilgamesh face off once again, with the result being similar as their first fight back in Fate's Day Night, with Gilgamesh's victory. In terms of her speed, Saber is capable of facing entities such as Tamamo, as previously mentioned in Extella. This same Tamamo from Extra, who has the ability to, while weaker than the version Saber can apparently deal with, casually run backwards in time, like a Looney Tunes character, to train herself to beat someone she was weaker than.
You're serious? Bro, what the fuck? I'm sorry, bro, but I can't with this show. So you're telling me this girl's getting her ass beat. So she runs back in time and she tells herself, hey, you're going to have to train harder because we just got our ass whooped. What the hell, bro? That's so hacks.
Tamamo basically trained for 1,000 years, and after regaining her power via growing back all 9 of her tails, she proceeds to run back in time and proceeds to just kick the moon cell and shuts it down and stops it from erasing the protagonist of the game. And even with this, Saber is considered more scary than her and is pretty much the trump card servant in Extra or Extella outside of like Gilgamesh or something. Due to this, it may be highly likely Artoria can face beings that can pretty easily just travel through time with speed, and even BB was able to manipulate the past, present, and future at the same time with her abilities, yet couldn't negate the servant she was facing. That alongside that Kojiro slash she can somewhat react to, apparently, that is beyond the concept of speed, kind of makes you wonder.
It makes sense then. I mean, she can move. She basically saw what was going to happen, and she preemptively deflected it or preemptively blitzed it, even though it's faster than the speed of speed. She still did it somehow. What?
You can somewhat react to, apparently, that is beyond the concept of speed, kind of makes you wonder. Now that we've established her stats, some unique abilities she possesses are things such as the ability to erase things from existence with her attacks, including concepts themselves, even beings that represent these concepts. Best example of this is the demon pillars from Fate Grand Order, which are just literally living concepts, and every single servant can pretty much mess these things up. She also possesses Avalon, which is the sheath of her sword.
The ever-distant utopia, noble phantasm, Avalon. The paradise in the Arthurian legends, a scabbard bearing the name of the fair land. The utopia Avalon was thought to be derived of the islands that produced the apple of immortality in Greek mythology. Avalon mended all wounds and halted the wielder's aging process. After unleashing its true name, Avalon would break into hundreds of shards and shield the wielder from all interference. The sheath of the Holy Sword was excavated by the Zineburns from Cornwall. The Zineburns from Cornwall. It was given to Kritsuga as a catalyst to summon King Arthur himself. It was a noble phantasm reaching the realm of true magic. Avalon shut out all physical interference. Operation of peril work. Operations of peril worlds and multi-dimensional communications up to the sixth dimension. There's two more after that. But holy goddamn shit, that sword sounds broken as hell. Sounds like the ultimate defense, bro.
Withholds a sixth dimensional realm, and she can immediately transport herself to whenever she wants. That can't be followed into without sixth dimensional or above manipulation. It also grants her insane regeneration, which can regenerate entire vital organs, like when Shiro regenerates his entire heart, or when Kyoritsugu gets absolutely obliterated and just comes back like nothing happened. So she is pretty much unable to die as long as she has this Avalon. Outside of Avalon, she possesses the ability to passively absorb and take souls from people's bodies, kind of like a Bleach Espada to regain her powers, so even ghosts or spirits would be susceptible to her almost infinite stamina.
Bro said Bleach. I was gonna say Shang Tsung. That's crazy.
In her presence, but she could also destroy concepts of them to begin with. Due to her luck stat, she is able to nullify causality and even manipulate fate itself to her favor. And this is best shown with her fight versus Lancer and Stay Night. Lancer throws his noble phantasm known as Gay Bulge. This noble phantasm manipulates causality so that one
Gay Bulge. Barbed spear that pierced with death. Noble phantasm. Gay Bulge. Lancer's anti-personal noble phantasm. A cursed crimson spear with the infamous reputation of always going through the heart when thrust. What it actually does is reversing causality. The spear being thrust after the outcome of striking the heart is established. When its true power is invoked, with its true name, Lancer's Crimson Spear gains the outcome of already striking the heart before being thrust. It didn't hit because it was thrust. It hit so it was thrust. An attack on destiny itself. What is needed to dodge Gay Bulge isn't high ability, but the power to reverse fate before the activation of Gay Bulge. High luck. While it's strictly an anti-personnel and specially targeting the heart, it's a top-notch power that decides fate. It's a noble phantasm, a step away from being an authority. But it's no surprise that it's for the wielder Kuchlan. Kuchlan is the child of a god. You shouldn't take him lightly just because he's a jobber. My nigga, what? Who wrote this shit? You telling me this motherfucker has a weapon that kills you because he was planning on thrusting the weapon? Like point blank, he thought about it, so it happened. And he's a jobber? Man, give it up for Fate's Day Nights. Give it up, man. The power scaling on this shit's gotta be ridiculous. Like, bro, the Discord fucking debates gotta be on goddamn fire when it comes to this. Because this is absolutely ridiculous. Bro said, whenever I'm thrusting the sword, you're getting hit in the heart. Not because I thrust the sword, but because your heart was already attacked and I just so happened to thrust. Like, bro, what? And the way you beat it, having high luck. If you don't get the Dungeons and Dragons, ooh, Roll 6 for luck. Oh, I got it. Like, get that shit out of
Once
here.
it's activated, you are already stabbed by it even before it is thrown, which gives the
Facts.
illusion it always lands after being thrown
Facts.
when it has already landed. But due to Artoria's luck stat and ability to manipulate this, she can actually deflect an attack which is literally just appearing into her heart instantly somehow. This luck, alongside her instinct, pretty much always directs her to the optimal path in combat, even when things are supposed to happen no matter what. She also shoots giant anime lasers, which is no joke. Out of everything listed here, stated to be her most powerful ability, somehow. Stronger than the ability to erase concepts, fight on 8th dimensional levels, fight beings that can run through time, have a 6th dimensional regeneration or teleportation. Nope, shooting the laser is apparently stronger. That's the scaling of Artoria, or Saber, from Fate. Do you guys
What does the laser do? Comments. What does the laser do? How is the laser? What does it do? Does it just does it evaporate you before you even existed? Like, you're not dying because the laser hit you. You're dying because you were born and the laser was created and pointed at you. I don't get it, bro. This shit crazy. Bro, you're not gonna tell me?
She can pretty much take anybody in fiction. Really, only a handful of people could ever really fight her, as you would need a very niche or particular description of abilities to actually be on that level.
Yes.
And it usually takes something, you know, like DC Comics, which has been going on for almost 100 years, or Fate, which has so many different mediums of information, to eventually just reach such an absurd level where it says something crazy like that. So it's not,
bro. Y'all know Booster Gold from DC Comics? Bro got like some crazy, super crazy power up that I can't remember, but I was like, man, this power up super crazy and OP. I just can't remember it right now. But look him up, man. Booster Gold. That dude's crazy.
That much of a shocker. But as someone who loved these anime a while back, it was really interesting learning that she was actually capable of all that. And
everything. She's capable of everything. She's so damn strong that if Zeno tried to press the button to nuke her whole goddamn universe, it wouldn't work because the button would have been broken. And the reason why it was broken is because it was created and Saber was in the same room when it was created. So she broke it before it was even created. This shit is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. Seth, I mean, that video gets a like. I've been subscribed to Seth for years now. But bro, that is absolutely crazy. Like, bro, I went in here like, bro, okay, I'm gonna need to see the receipts on how she's stronger than Goku. And I know a lot of characters are stronger than Goku. I just like the meme of, oh, she can't beat Goku. But nah, bro. Nah, and she's called a C tier character even though she matches up to Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh is supposedly like stronger, but she's still the Trump. I don't even know, bro. My head hurt. My head hurt just trying to think of this shit. Man, I'm out, man. Comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.